Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to another great episode of ICAST Radio. I am your host, Brian Carter. And guys, if you're watching via YouTube tonight, ICAST Radio, we're missing a couple guys. Thomas and my boy Bass Geek has some stuff happening tonight, but we do have a great guest in with us and local right here in Central Virginia, Mr. Derik Hudson. Want to welcome him to the show. And guys, we're going to talk tonight about ICAST 2024. Derik put out a really good video on some of his products and thoughts, and we're going to talk about that. And then we're going to talk about the video that he put out last week, regarding his changes in life and his plans going forward. So I thought we'd dive into that. But before we get started, guys, make sure you head on over and check out Groove Street Radio right here in Central Virginia. They're actually located in Bedford, Virginia, right up there next to the lake. And they do a lot of stuff around the lake. And they have great podcasts that are all locally, centrally topics for right here in Central Virginia. Plus, They have about a dozen radio stations you guys can listen to when you're working around the house. They got some 80s. They got a news radio station, 90s. They got a bunch of different radio stations as well. So, like I said, make sure you head on over and check them out. The American Angler Outdoors. You guys can watch us there. It's a bunch of other podcasts as well as ICAST Radio. And he's playing shows 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, where you can watch the latest episode of ICAST Radio and many other shows. So definitely make sure you guys tune in and check that out as well. And you can download both of those right there. You can download the app right to your mobile phone. So if you want to watch or listen, download it right to your phone. So, and last but not least, Dockside Live Radio down in Florida. Guys, the show is on there on Saturday and Sunday mornings at 10 and 11. So tune in and check it out. And we appreciate them for being a part of ICAST Radio. And you guys see the sponsor on top of my head tonight. If I can get my head straight. Danielle said,
we got matching hats.
I think we do. Danielle says she thinks my head's crooked because my hats are always crooked, but I think it's just my head.
It's the way you pull it. I learned a long time ago you got to pull it with two hands so you get it straight every time. Pull it with one hand, you always will have a little offset.
Hey, I might have to start doing it, guys. So, guys, like you heard right there, we got brother Derik Hudson in with us tonight. But first of all, let's talk about ICAST 2024. Some great unique products we saw. I saw something really cool today, and it looked like a lipless crankbait that the back end had been bitten off of. I mean, we're talking about some crazy stuff that we see at ICAST. I don't know if you saw that. It's on bassmaster.com. It was their picks for ICAST 2024. AFTCO put out some great looking gear. You guys all know I'm a big AFTCO fan here. I love it. It's a great price point for outdoor gear, if you ask me. And I'm sorry, I can't really afford $100 shirt.
Yeah,
it might be beautiful, but I can't afford it. I mean, sorry, I work a 9 to 5 like everybody else does. So, but yeah. So hopefully you guys checked out Derik's video. Derik did a really cool video. I watched what did it pop out yesterday or day before yesterday? I can't remember.
Day before yesterday, I think.
Day before yesterday on his picks. Let's get Derik's thoughts on ICAST 2024. Now, we all took it for... No, you didn't go, though, did you, Derik?
I didn't go this year, no. And
we were all from a distance.
I was pleasantly surprised that I was able to... there's so many people covering that thing now. And on social media, I follow so many of them. And Tackle Warehouse has their own, full segments on their favorite forward-facing sonar. Like you said, Bassmaster does, and MLF does. There's so much that covers it now that I really, I miss the camaraderie of being there and shaking hands with the sponsors and just, having a good old time, sharing, learning what the new stuff is and what all the intricate details of it is. And I really missed enjoying the show, being there like I was the past 2 years, but at the same time, I got a lot of coverage on just what was released. And that's mainly what ICAST is all about.
Yeah. You guys saw the story that we put together about media overload for ICAST. And yeah, it's a big event. This is when the sponsors try to get. I don't even want to how to say that. They try to get their money's worth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For the people that they've sponsored this year, their deal is come to ICAST, Bassmaster Classic, Red Crest, or any other major fishing event that we have, and promote their wares. Way to
Yeah.
say it, I guess. Promote their goods, whether it be rods, reels, um, Lowrance's new fish finder. Many different things are done. But you were talking about that earlier about the new fish finder, man. Talk about that. I mean, that's pretty. If you guys saw the press release, I hope you did. It's been up on the basscast.com since it popped out. But I'll let Deriik tell you guys about that.
So yeah, Lowrance, they released the new trolling motor, which was long awaited. I mean, everybody's been wanting a swiveling head trolling motor
Mm-hmm.
from
Mm-hmm.
Lowrance because the Ghost was a beast, but the main complaint was the head did not swivel. The Ultrex, the Quests, the Power Pole Move, all of them do it. We love it. We want the head to move, especially with forward facing sonar. So Lowrance finally did that, and bravo to them for finally doing that. It's been a little while. We've been waiting for it, but they finally got that out there. So now they're competing head to head with the rest of them, same technology and everything.
Yeah.
Um, but they also released, which I was really excited about because not just from a bass fishing perspective, but from a just fishing perspective, the community of fishing, they've released a forward facing unit. And it does more than just forward facing. It does structure scan, down scan, all the other stuff, but it's a forward facing unit, 9 inches for under $1,000 for the whole works. And I was like, wow, I know lots of anglers that are just fun fishermen that would love this technology. Those guys that love to go catch a live well full of crappie just to eat on for the week, and they don't want to spend $30,000-$40,000 on electronics like
No.
some of us professional bass fishermen are doing. So to give them an entry level forward facing sonar unit was really cool, really smart. And I saw that across the board, not just from electronics standpoint. I saw that across the board from just a technology standpoint. There's so many companies now um, embracing the forward facing sonar and really jumping in there for it. And they're making entry level stuff and they're making the higher end stuff still. So it's really cool to see that in the sport.
Guys, who never thought about this, I saw a really cool boat it's probably been about a month ago. Yeah, a guy had just a regular, I think it's 12-inch. I can't remember what size he had, but he had it like, I don't know how you call it, string cast to like a 21-inch monitor up
Mm-hmm.
front. And then he had like a little one in the back. So I mean, you don't really have to have that, but if you want to, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting older, I can't see that well. But if you want to have that big, huge screen like you're talking about, you can buy just a regular screen. I mean, it's probably a couple $100, not like thousands of dollars, and you can send it to the front of your boat, and you can still have that big screen experience. I mean, computers been
Now,
doing it. Computers have been doing it. Go ahead.
yeah. So here's one of the things. So MBT, the next big thing is that what the MBT acronym stands for, but they're the ones that are pioneering the bigger screens. And you see a lot of the Elite Series and BPT guys are using those screens, and they're just an adjunct to
Mm-hmm.
Garmin or Lowrance or whatever, and they're just giving it a bigger um, and a bigger display. But I do know that those guys worked years on getting those products right because unlike a screen that you like you're saying you can take a TV screen, a computer screen, HDMI it straight into your Lowrance. Most Lowrances have HDMI plugs in it back. You can make that work somehow. But the things you don't get the ability to see it really good when it's sunny. You don't get weather protection. You don't get all of that stuff. And that's what MBT did is
Oh yeah.
they took and they refined
Mm-hmm.
all those little things you have to have from a unit that's going to be beat to death, 70 mile per hour, boat rides and 4 foot swells. And they took all of that technology and the weather conditions and you need to be able to see the screen when it's pitch black dark and you need to be able to see it when it's, fully bluebird skies. They took all of that and worked years to get it into a big screen.
Yeah,
So
you can mark your spots and everything with it. I mean, yeah,
yeah,
what he showed me guys was really freaking cool. I mean, you pretty much did everything that you could do on your your Lowrance or Hummingbird or whatever you were using on the front of that, and you could mark your spots. You could do a lot of stuff. Showed it was a touch screen just like what you had in the back. It was just bigger. So like what Derik said right there is, I mean, there's lots of different things you could do. I know another friend of mine who just bought one of the new mounts. You just raise it up. I mean, you
like the
know,
beat down.
yeah,
Yeah.
and a lot of guys are going to that as well to save money. They still want that ability to see the forward facing, because like I said, this guy's 50 years old, 50
Yeah.
plus. So I
Yeah.
mean, it's great if you can raise that thing, screen up about 4 feet off the boat, three
Yeah.
feet, whatever it is.
It's just taking advantage of the fact that when you see an object a long ways away, it's going to appear a lot smaller.
Mm-hmm.
Your screen being on the deck of the boat versus up close to your face, you're going to need a bigger screen to make a fish or bait fish or anything pop differently. You're going to either need a bigger screen low, or you can still get away with a smaller screen if you bring it up closer to your face.
Yes, sir. We saw a lot of heads, guys. Oh my goodness, because they're making so many baits now for forward facing sonar. Missile
Yep.
Baits has come out theirs. Crush City came out the really nice one as well. And we saw a lot of different heads for forward facing sonar. Was there anything that really stood out to you in regards to that?
It's still a lot to filter through. I mean, there's so many.
Yes,
Every company's coming out with so many different
it
things.
is. It is.
Um, I I think the one that really stood out to me the most, it's probably not going to get much attention, is the new missile mini D bomb,
Oh yeah.
because that thing is kind of a cross between a crawl, Ned rig. It's just a finesse little deal that's not going to be, it's not many people making anything like that. I know that this last invitational at Champlain, I caught a pile of my fish off a Ned rig.
Mm.
I wish I had the mini D bombs, because I know they would have crushed that. Um, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to that bait, just because the finesse game is where it's at nowadays. It seems like it's very seldom do you hear about a power fishing technique, a old buzz baiter in the back of a creek
Oh
doing anything
yeah.
nowadays. It's all finesse, and it's all looking at them. It seems like
Mm.
yeah, that's one that I think is going to get overlooked a little bit. Everybody's on the minnow trend right now. Missile came out with a spunk shad, a smaller
Mm-hmm.
version. There's a lot of people coming out with bigger, like they're going the opposite way too. There's a lot of companies coming out with 5, 6, 7 inch baits for
Good
forward facing
gosh. The
sonar.
old worm. The
Yeah,
old worm.
but it's pretty cool to see that there's so many baits right now coming into the forward facing sonar
Yeah,
category, that it's going to be
it's
exciting to play around with that stuff.
it's a whole lot coming. Hopefully we can help you navigate through, pick the ones that work the best. You guys make sure tune into Derik's channel there. As he gets baits in, he'll go try them out, check them out, let you guys know what
Yeah,
to
I've got
use.
I got the pool now, so I'm going to be doing some
Yep, he's got the
underwater
pool.
footage of the new hotness from Missile, especially, but other companies too. I mean, I'm going to be sharing a bunch of different stuff. Underwater footage can tell a lot about a bait.
So letting you guys know now who are listening, we have some baits coming from Missile. We got some of the new stuff coming. And we're going to be giving it away in one of our giveaway contests, a monthly giveaway contest. And we have one going on now till the end of the year. We're giving away a set of scales, a free jersey, and a lot of great baits. So head on over now and enter our monthly giveaway contest. And while you're there, subscribe to our newsletter. So we really appreciate that. All right, let's dive in this bad boy here. Last week, man, something I never thought I'd see. We all saw it. It actually, someone else sent it to me. I watched it, and Deriik made a decision to step away from major, no, not whole Major League Fishing, but the Tackle Warehouse Invitational Series.
Yep.
What, you know, I know that had to be, because Deriik, I've been knowing you for a long time, man. That had to be like one of the biggest decisions you've ever made in your whole entire life. When you're
Well,
trying to reach a goal, I mean, it'd be same as me stepping away from this. I mean, it really would be.
yeah.
What all went into that decision, man? Besides
Uh,
family, we know family is the main thing, but
yeah.
because you were having a decent career, so I mean, decent year.
My faith was the main thing. Not making that last check at the last invitational, missing it by so little. I mean,
Yes.
5 ounces. I had a lot of fish lost in that tournament, so it replayed in my head for sure. Two places, and checks in the invitational level. When you get a check, it's a big help because I mean they're 8,000 and above, so it's a big chunk back in your pocket. So to miss that, um, definitely gave me a lot of thinking to do and a lot of praying to do, and it was like everything was just pointing to financially it would just be better for my family, for my career, to take a step back, not finish out the season because there really wasn't an incentive for me to finish out the season. I
Right.
couldn't make the BPT points race. I couldn't. I chances of me going to St. Clair and fishing against the locals and on such a big body of water and finding that needle in a haystack on St. Clair and doing really good
Mm-hmm.
enough to really, pay back myself. It wasn't looking that, like that was as good a call for me in my career. So I when I was doing the praying and soul searching and trying to figure out what's the next step, because I'm not a quitter and I want to give it 110%, and I'm like, do it, should I just finish out the season strong? But yeah, I do want to finish out the season strong, but there's a way I can finish it out stronger, and that is going to Santee Cooper, going after making that wild card spot to the championship, getting a free entry fee into the Toyota Series Championship, which pays huge, ridiculous money, and then also still finish out all of my English choice team tournaments and just fish some around home. So yeah, I'm gonna finish out the season strong. It's just gonna be in a different place.
Talk to us about you spent 2 years in it,
Yeah.
uh, and talk to us about the mental aspect of this whole entire thing. It from going from that weekend warrior angler to, I mean, you really did push in all the chips. I mean, you walked away from a job you've been at what, 15 years?
Yep.
The
16,
firefighter,
16 years.
16
Yep.
years
16 years as a firefighter. Yep.
as a firefighter to go all in on this. What was it like mentally going through the battles of good events and bad events? And, making it through, say, okay, hey, another event's coming. I want to do well in this event. And the challenges that you went through as you kind of were a rookie, and you weren't a rookie angler, but you really were, because I mean, you're going to
Yeah.
bodies of water you've never been to.
Yeah. So leading into that first season, in the invitationals, and I actually left my fire department job to become a professional angler at the Toyota Series level.
Okay.
So that first year, I was just a Toyota Series angler,
Oh, yeah,
and
that's right.
the very first tournament, I was at Lake Gunnersville, and when I pushed the chips in, like you said, and decided to do this 100%, I knew I couldn't do it without my faith in Jesus Christ and my conviction that that it's a bigger purpose than just fishing. It really is a bigger purpose than just fishing. I've helped so many homeless hitchhikers. I have ran the Bass Church on the Invitational the past 2 years. It's way bigger than fishing to me. But when I left that first tournament, I said I'm giving it all to God, and I spent most of my tournament it was at Lake Gunnersville. It was a Toyota Series. It was the biggest Toyota Series then and now, because they let the field go past their 260 max,
Oh,
and
yeah, I remember that.
we had like 329 in that
Yeah.
tournament. And I spent most of my tournament practice. I had like 6 days of practice, and I spent most of it in my Airbnb praying, reading devotionals, reading the Bible. Sometimes I didn't get on the water till 1, 2 o'clock in the evening. And I knew that I'm growing something that's bigger than fishing. I'm growing a faith, and I'm growing myself personally. And that was worth way more than any fishing tournament at that time. And one of my days that I got on the water like lunchtime. And when I put the trolling motor in I put in at Seabowl Creek, and I put the trolling motor down, and I said, all right, I'm going to go and get like where you can run. I'm
Mm-hmm.
trolling motor up, and I'm going to run to this island that I know has some grass behind it. And that was my personal thought. Well, when I went to pull the trolling motor up the first time, I felt like a conviction, like the Holy Spirit was telling me, no, put your trolling motor back down. And I did. I had it halfway up, and I dropped it back down in the water and was like, okay. So I picked a rod up and started fishing, and I just kept fishing. And I went like hundreds of yards down the bank, just on the grass edges, and get like too shallow in the grass and get back out. And I didn't have a bite. And I went to pull the trolling motor up again, and I could still feel that tug of like, no, you need to put that trolling motor back down. Put the trolling motor back down, and went another, I don't know how many hundred yards down the bank. And then all of a sudden, I had a boil on my chatterbait that was like the size of the truck hood. And I was
Wow.
like, whoa, that's a big one. I just knew that was a big one. And he didn't get it. And I caught 2 4-pounders the next 2 casts. And it was in a spot that I would have never practiced, never even thought of. It just, God led me there. It truly was God leading me there. And I went there the first day of the tournament, caught 19 pounds off of that. And I turned, and after it kind of fizzled out, I turned and left, and I'm thinking, okay, this is a grass mat that I kept these fish in. I'm gonna go to another grass mat. And I think it's so looking back, it's so crazy that this all happened on the same body of water that Randy Howe had his Bassmaster Classic win, when
Mm-hmm.
he would run up the lake and he felt that tug, the Holy Spirit tug of I need to turn around and go back to somewhere else. So I left that spot. I just caught 19 pounds. It was a grass mat, and I'm headed to another grass mat. Like, you just caught them on a grass mat, you need to go to another grass mat. That one's
Right.
just filled out, but you need to go to another one. And while I'm going to the grass mat, I just felt that tug again to go to a bridge. And the day before, the last practice day, I fished the bridge. I told my co-angler buddy, Jason Hinger, who had come down. And when I fished it for 2.5 hours, I said, well, good thing I can write this off. So I had wrote it off as the bridge was not the bite to be on.
Mm-hmm.
And it was that same tug of the trolling motor, like, I need to go there. And my co-angler, I'm sure, was like, what is this guy doing? Because I did like hard jerks towards the bridge, and then straightened up on the bridge, and then hard jerks to the grass mat. Like, no, I need to go back to grass. But I just listened to the voice and just did. I was like, I got 19 pounds. I got nothing to lose. I followed the voice to the bridge. I caught 2 6-pounders and a 4-pounder, and ended up with 25 whatever the first day. And that was sitting in third or second or third.
Let
And
me ask you, this though. You brought up something a little while ago, and you were talking about, you know, the couple of days of practice. You really didn't practice,
yeah,
but because you were doing other things. But God put you in this position to fish these professional events. Do you believe that He said go out and do it 100% and give 100% fishing? Do you feel that you might have wasted time? I
no,
mean, you know what
it,
I'm saying. I mean, that's if
I've heard this comment 100 million times, and
I kind
social
of
media.
go
It's
ahead.
God doesn't care about fishing tournaments. He truly doesn't. He doesn't
I
care
mean, I
about
know that, but
tournaments.
he says, if he puts you in a position,
Yeah,
whatever position that is, he tells you to give 100% and do it all to the glory of God at 100%. And he
exactly.
puts
But
you on as an angler on the water to give 100%.
yeah, but not angler first. It's child of God and following Him first.
All right.
The other one second. And that's why I pushed those ships in of like, I'm giving my life to God. It doesn't matter if every tournament was a bust from then
Right.
on. I ended up working at Liberty, as a janitor. It didn't, to me, it's getting closer to God. And that's for the whole path of my life. That's more important than anything. So for it to just trickle into me winning the Angle of the Year, meeting Brian Partak the last day of the Angle of the Year win, him being my traveling partner the next year in invitationals,
Mm-hmm.
us doing a Bible study at the invitationals and a bass church that I started at the
Pretty awesome.
invitationals. All along the way, I've helped so many homeless and hitchhikers. It's just been, we could sit here and have a podcast for probably 24 hours on just the amazing miracles I've seen
That's awesome.
transformed in my life. And that's why this decision to step away from the invitationals wasn't truly a hard decision. It was I need to make sure I'm listening to God the right way. And I had to just, step back, think about it, pray about it. And it led me down a path. And it's when you see it, it's like when you're ahead of what happened, you're looking back. It's so amazing because as soon as I announced that, Gary Malkin, who is a great
Yep.
buddy of mine from English Choice,
Yep.
fishes a lot of the Toyota series. He's like, dude, he calls me up. It's like, dude, I saw your video. Let's go fish Santee Cooper together. Let's team up. And I'm like,
That's
and
awesome.
now I got a traveling partner. And then another buddy of mine, Dan Garner, he's from Santee Cooper. He's the one so I won a BFL last year at Bugs Island.
Mm-hmm.
My co-angler in the same boat, he won as well. And that's his name, Dan Garner. And he is from Santee Cooper. And
That's awesome.
he's been sharing all kinds of information with me. So it's just amazing the way things work, man. It's unreal when you look back at it. God's pretty great.
In your video, you also brought up social media and social media presence, and you get hopefully all you guys out there know bass fishing now is 50-50. I'm sorry, a lot of you guys are going to hate it, but it really is 50-50. You have to have a social media presence now. Back in the day, I was watching a video that I watch on a regular, and they weren't taking people unless they had 5,000 followers, and this was just for a gig because they
Yeah.
wanted they wanted their brand, they wanted their product to be promoted, they because they want to promote it through you. Talk about some of your difficult challenges through the social media gig, and looking back on it now, I kind of say, I talked to some young anglers this year about social media, and I kind of preached, if this is your ultimate goal, you need to get started now. I mean, you don't need to wait on your social media for, bass fishing or anything else that you want to get yourself involved in. Talk to us about your challenges, and if you had to do it all over again, what were your thoughts? I mean, you're still going with it, but I mean, we ain't getting no younger, so I mean,
That's probably one of the biggest challenges is, I didn't get to grow up with it.
yeah,
You and me didn't grow up with it in our,
no,
middle school, high school years. We didn't have that stuff. So I think that's definitely one of the biggest challenges is you're kind of behind the curve a little bit. But I definitely I can see the writing on the wall in so many places. One, tournament fishing is full of highs and lows. If
mm-hmm,
you are aspiring to be just a tournament angler alone, social media is somewhere you need to focus because I know a lot of great anglers that have those bad tournaments and good tournaments, but they have successful YouTube channels or whatever that's paying the bills, and that is helps making those hits of a bad tournament not so bad. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm,
I think that's I hope and pray that eventually I get there. And that's probably one of the biggest things that I've noticed with the social media. It's kind of sad is that sex sells on social media.
mm,
Let's just
yes,
call a spade a spade. That I don't know how many people I see that are not qualified to have 100,000 plus followers on some social media platform, but because they shake their butt and they do it all the wrong ways, they get that.
yeah,
So that's the sad reality of it, and it's hard to see that stuff and to just keep yourself grounded and not compromise and not be who you are and be your brand and stand for something bigger than that. And that's why my social medias are growing slow, because I'm not willing to shake my butt and wear tank tops and bikinis, and
Come
I'm
on,
just
D.
not there yet. But it's definitely it's still rewarding journey, because there's a lot of great people on social media. I've met so many, like uh Bass Geek, for example.
Yeah.
There's so many great people on social media to actually meet and learn from, and to grow your community with. So there's a lot of great things, and there's a lot of things that are like, you shake your head at. So it is what it
Yeah.
is. It's part of the thing, but definitely the younger crowd. Um, I I would second what you said. You need to get into it. You need to be active in social media, watching YouTube videos on how to grow this and how to do this different, how to edit this video differently, how to do a better thumbnail on YouTube. All of that stuff, you need to start learning that stuff, because the quicker you learn it, the better off you're going to be. But also, we just had our Major League Fishing high school camp in Kentucky. And one of the things I preached there was, remember that you are on social media. So it's a
Hmm.
community. Do not say that one thing that is distasteful, disrespectful, hurtful, mean spirited, just because you're sitting in your bedroom and you think you can. Don't do it and just basically commit social media suicide, because that is not something you want, no matter where you go. And it had to be fishing related. You, I'm sure I'm sure
Yeah.
people that lost their job from just saying the one wrong thing in the wrong place, and boom, they are gone. They are terminated. The next employment's going to be hard to find, all of that, just because they did one wrong thing. So just
I,
be careful out there.
guys, this is no lie. I had it happen to me twice in 1 year. Once in the spring and once in the fall. And I had to go and delete and clean up all my stuff from this person because I got attacked because
Wow.
of a comment that he made. So, yes, please, like I said, keep your nose clean.
Yeah.
Don't post anything that you don't want to come back, because it will come back on you. I mean, it's gonna come back because, like you said, it is social. That's what the whole thing about this is. Unless you have a private group, it's a social media, because you want to grow and you want to network and you want to grow as fast as you can, but you don't want to step on toes. And like I said, you want to have a clean page and a right page. So,
That's
but
so
yes,
that's that was what I had at the Major League Fishing camp, was ethics,
awesome.
etiquette, and boater safety. And that was what I brought up, was Matthew 7:12. Do unto others as you would want them to do unto you. I mean, treat others the way you want to be treated. If you keep that, even in social media, even in the way you talk to your family and friends, and just business, everything, if you keep that mindset, you will be good.
That is awesome. Uh, I don't want to scare any anglers off here, but I thought we'd touch on the financials just a little bit. You ain't got
Oh
to
yeah.
talk about numbers or nothing, but guys, the trips. I mean, even with a partner or a road partner, this thing gets pretty daggone expensive. And I've seen so many comments on social media lately. I don't know if Derik's looked under at the Basscast, but how the leagues are winning, the anglers are not, blah blah blah. It's a conspiracy, but it's not a cheap sport. I mean, it is the most expensive individual sport there is out there. I mean,
Yeah.
for that's a single person, whether that's golf, tennis, racquetball, bass fishing is the top,
Yeah.
and it can
I,
be pretty overwhelming.
and going what you're saying, that the leagues are winning, the anglers are not. At the same time, the leagues have got to win, or the anglers don't have a place to fish. Let's be
Yes.
honest. If they don't pay their tournament directors good, if they don't pay the people in the positions they have well, you lose them. You lose the integrity of those weigh-ins. They don't go as well. You start losing, competitors, because hey, I sat in weigh-in for 4 hours because they didn't know what they were doing. Could you imagine how much of a trickle effect that would be? So at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, I kind of understand it. It's, you got to pay both. You got to keep the organization full and happy. They've got to have what they need to do their job. And at the same time, we as anglers need the same thing. And It's not. I'm fine talking about numbers because, yeah, it's one of the only sports that you have to pay to play. When LeBron signed a contract, he didn't have to pay entry fees to get into each game.
No.
So, yeah, we haven't grown to that point yet. And I don't know if we ever will grow because
Mm-mm.
we've been growing for a while. I don't know if we ever will grow out of that. Um, but actually, I've heard rumors that, at sometimes there has been no entry fees. There has been big levels that are bringing so much to the table that they didn't have to pay entry fees. Um, BPT, I think, was one of them at that time. But that's to be a standard across the board. I don't know if that will ever come. We're a smaller, more unique sport. We're not on ESPN every, Sunday morning, Saturday morning, taking up 5 hours of highlights.
Yes.
So I don't know if we'll ever be big enough that we have so many people chomping at the bit to have us, that there's so much sponsorship dollars coming in from all over the world that we can start paying people contracts and no entry fees. I don't know if it'll ever get to that point.
We've you guys know Thomas has come on board with us this in the last couple of episodes, and Thomas is pretty big with fishing the DMV, and the amount of locations that we can fish are all starting to shrink as well. A lot of the laws, a lot of the new rules are being put in, and it's not helping the industry as a whole. I mean, it's helping the body of water, they say, but it's not helping the industry as a whole. So we're fighting against that as well. The locations, it's $50,000 to $100,000 for some of these tournaments to be brought to the location. You guys all know that Major League Fishing will be on Smith Mountain Lake next year, so really blessed to have that. And it's meant, the events when they put them on here, they're meant to highlight your area, highlight your lake,
Yeah.
places to stay, places to eat, things of that nature. And that's, it's what it is because most lakes, it's changed, but a lot of the lakes, if you go back about 10 years, wasn't much around it. And Smith Mountain Lake's still one of those lakes where we haven't really built up like a lot of the lakes have. I mean, you got Mariners Landing Resort, but that is all to stay at on Smith Mountain Lake.
Right.
Thank goodness to Airbnbs, and that's helped tremendously because I know when the elites were here years ago, when I first started this thing in '08, um, everybody crashed at people's houses. So, I mean, it was the networking through social media, the networking. Hey, can I stay with you? Next thing you know, three anglers are staying at your house. And that's what it was. And, hopefully this will help, this Major League Fishing event that they're bringing to Smith Mountain Lake is going to be freaking awesome. And it's going to be great to have the cameras and the highlights and all that stuff. But like I said earlier, with the new rules coming to a lot of the lakes, Pennsylvania's one of them, Thomas has brought up, that they don't want us fishing during the spawn. And there's a lot of different things changing. So please, if you want to continue having tournaments on your lake, you need to have a voice and you need to bring this up to your congressperson or lady or man, woman, whatever, and voice your opinion on the bodies of water and the game and fish, and try to be involved with that. So there's a lot of things changing in the world of bass fishing, as well as the price going up and
Yeah.
entry fees going up because you know I think Major League Fishing raised another one of their entry fees again this year. So because
Which
they
one?
all crap, I want to say it is the Tackle Warehouse because they added free entry. Is it the Tackle Warehouse? I think it's like 6,000 now, and free classic. There's a we had a guest on last week, and he's talking about a free championship. So
Yeah,
they're
so we don't have a championship in Tackle Warehouse Invitationals. They pulled
so
that away. Um, that there's some rumors that might be coming back. So
yeah. So that was our last episode, and he got the email. So
yeah.
there's a lot of things changing, a lot of things
Oh yeah,
happening.
it always
Um,
is.
the next step for you, man, like you said, you're looking to fish in the Toyota series, going back to the Toyotas. What has, you said it was a blessing to walk away. Um, Do you think you would ever make the dive again, or is it something that you're happy staying in content in the Toyota Series event and maybe, you know, fishing the opens or anything of that nature, or you just stick with major league fishing?
Um, I've already talked to Kevin about my point standings, and I should get an invite back to the invitationals next year. Um, they've done a lot of uh, changing and have increased payouts over on the opens, and um, I think the EQs would fit me really good as well because I've always been more consistent of an angler. I've got two AOY titles, BFL
Mm-hmm.
level and Toyota Series level, because I work really hard on just being consistent, catching five and bringing a decent sack to the table every time. Stepping up to the invitationals, I just realized that now all of those guys are doing the same thing. You kind of have to not only bring five to the table, you've got to really figure out how to catch more kickers and put them in the basket. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to finishing out this year strong and see where that takes me. Because if I win a Toyota Series championship, it might be a lot of things change next year. Who knows? That's 200 grand plus 50 grand from nitro bonus. I mean, that's a lot of money. It might be a retirement party. Who knows? Who
Oh,
knows?
geez. You guys heard
Uh,
right here, a retirement party. I think it's a little too early for that. You too
I,
young, Derik.
well, I might, ask old John Cruz if they got any spots at Missile and just go up there and start working on baits behind the scenes. Who knows? But no, seriously, I don't know. We're just gonna keep praying and keep going wherever the Lord leads me and enjoy every moment of it.
I was talking about it earlier, guys. Franklin County is sponsoring the heavy hitters on Smith Mountain Lake, May 17th to 22nd. Um, how, if I remember correctly, I looked up. It's about 40 anglers qualified for this, and I don't know what
It's
they're gonna. I don't know what they're gonna do for next year. I don't know how many are going to be qualified fish this event. And this is kind of like an all-star event for Major
Yeah,
League
I don't know
Fishing.
how they're gonna shake up all that stuff when the 65 cut happens and then the 50 cut happens. I don't
Yeah,
know how the heavy hitters amounts are gonna change and all. I don't know. I don't know about that, but I do know that Smith Mountain Lake, as the heavy hitter body of water, that's gonna be crazy because when Skeet Reese won in 2010 the Elite Series,
mm-hmm.
he had almost 20 pounds a day. And that was before all this F1 stocking they've
Oh
done.
yeah,
You know it. You've seen it. When you
yeah.
come up there to the weigh-ins, there's some big bass in that lake now. And they are also educated bass, super smart bass, clear water, super smart.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be a really cool experience to see how they tackle a heavy hitters event going after just the giants on such a unique body of water. It's going to be pretty cool.
Do you think we'll see our first 10?
It's very possible. There's a lot of eights and nines in the
We've
local
seen a
trade.
lot of eights and almost seen some nines. So I mean, one was caught in a bass cast tournament last year by Aaron, our weighmaster. So I mean, we've
I
seen
could see
some we've seen
for
some
sure
really
because the
nice
F1,
fish.
they know the F1s are growing every year because they're doing those studies. I mean, the game commission is at
Yep.
the Amos Choice events and I don't know if they
So
come to the Bass Cats events, but
they come
they
to
come.
the big bass tour and they set up
Yeah,
there and they did a lot of thread fin samples. Hopefully you guys all got to check out that video. I showed you all what they do to get these samples and what they're looking for, and he talked us through the whole entire process.
yeah. So they're constantly keeping a check on them, and they know they are growing every year. They're growing, growing, growing. That's why, right now to have a heavy hitters event scheduled for next year, it could be pretty crazy. You can see definitely some giant bass.
Derik, I appreciate you coming on night talking to us. I got one more question before you go. Looking back at, the Tackle Warehouse Invitational series and, the
Sir.
memories that you had fishing that, like I said, we don't know what the future holds for you, but we do know it's the Toyota series right now. What was some of your bigger takeaways from, being a part of that organization?
Uh, Probably the main one I'm kind of seeing now is they're still trying to put out the best organization they can. I've done I just took a screenshot of one. I've done 2 surveys in the past month. They're trying to get the voice of the anglers. They're trying to make it better. They're trying to change stuff to make the anglers more happy and to keep growing the sport and keep the people that are playing the game
Oh yeah.
uh, having that voice they need to have to make the game better. And I think that's really cool. I'm really looking forward to. I enjoyed every minute of it, every tournament. I mean, the camaraderie, the professionalism, all of that, top notch. And I'm looking forward to. I think Bass is killing it on their end too, because I've got a lot of friends that are over there, and I think Bass is strong and Bass is doing the right things as well. So it's exciting. It's exciting to be in this position to kind of look at the sport and just be able to just follow whatever which way God leads me. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Guys, you guys all know Randy Blockett, but I'm hearing some rumors coming out. I've heard that there's a council out as well, like you was talking about the Major League Fishing. We got wind of the survey a couple of weeks ago, and we had an angler on talk about it. But there's going to be some changes coming up in the world of bass fishing, and you guys know the Basscast will be on top of it right here, and we'd love to get your opinion when it all drops, because we know it's going to probably drop here really, really soon. Because, like you said, I did see the first survey. I haven't seen the second survey yet, but I did get a chance to see the first survey. So we'll see where the sport takes us and where bass fishing takes Derik Hudson in the weeks and the months ahead. And Dee, we'll see you next at the Angler's Choice Championship.
You're not coming down to Norman?
When
The
is
English,
Norm?
the team tournaments in Norman, they're September.
I probably will not come to Norman. That's
Oh,
3 hours from this house.
oh man, it's not that far.
That's,
But yeah, we'll see you at the championships for sure. I think we've qualified for both of them this year, so we're excited to fish both of them. If you're not fishing the Angler's Choice Team Tournament trails, there's so many incentives to fish it. They have giveaways. They have uh, smallest fish, uh, biggest, smallest 5 fish, biggest
yeah.
3. They have so many side pots. They have Angler's Choice team money that if you finish, me and Brandon have finished way down the pack, but because we own a Angler's Choice boat, we've gotten money back from the Angler's Choice money.
What do you
There's
give
just,
like 1,500, 1,000, and
yeah,
500 if you bought a boat from
exactly.
English Choice? I mean, you didn't
Yeah,
even have to catch a fish. I mean, you
yeah.
just, had to own a boat and they draw your name out.
It's crazy. It's really it's one of the best team trails I've ever seen. And I've been fishing for a long time. It's actually the best, I would say, for sure. Because I there's always been some tournaments with good paying structures, you know, that you're kind of excited about because they pay really good. But to have one that has so many different facets, you don't know what you're going to win. You're like, oh man, it's money here, it's money there. It's really really great, and it's
I
just
mean,
it's
you
ran
get
great.
$100 from the smallest fish. One
Yeah,
fish, $100. I mean, they'll pay
yep,
for the entry fee at least. I mean, come on, guys. Or
yeah,
part of it. Part of it. I forget
yeah.
it's like 140, I think, now for an entry into it.
But
But
it's a great trail.
before you go, excuse me, before you go, Deriik, plug your social media, brother. Oh, get a drink.
So I'm on all the social medias. Derik Hudson Fishing, YouTube. We just reached 1,000 followers on YouTube
Woohoo!
thanks to that last video. And it's been trickling slowly, but that one kind of just pushed it over the edge to get above 1,000. So I'm gonna be doing a giveaway on YouTube. Pair of Wiley X sunglasses. I said
Bam.
as soon as I hit 1,000, I was going to give away a $200 pair of sunglasses. So that's coming soon. But also Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. I got it all. Derik Hudson Fishing. Go check me out.
You guys heard it right here. Thank you guys for listening tonight. We'll be back next week. Got another great show lined up for you guys. Please don't forget, listen to us on watch us on American Angler Outdoors and Groove Street Radio. Make sure you check that out. Like I said, guys, a lot of great stuff happening over there. So make sure you follow them. And then Dockside. Make sure you check it out. They have a lot of events done in Florida. Florida, dude, Derik's been, I've been. It's a wild place. It's a different life in Florida. I mean, it's a lot of great stuff happening down in Florida. So appreciate all these organizations being a part of Basscast Radio and promoting what we do here. So thank you guys for listening, and we'll be talking to you all again next week right here on Basscast Radio.